y'all. Welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. Alrighty, so we're going to talk about this little post I made on LinkedIn. I just pulled it up so I could refresh my memory. I promised y'all I was going to talk about this. I made a statement, and I stand by this, that if an applicant goes through the trouble of applying directly for a role, they deserve to have their resume reviewed. That's how I worded it. Now, in hindsight, I probably could have said that better, and we're going to dig into that. But that's what I said, and that's what I meant. The only thing I might change there, and I want to actually start with my philosophy around this, is every applicant deserves fair consideration. So I've had time to think about this, so I'm kind of like, not walking it back, by the way. I still stand by that. But what that looks like, what that review looks like, could vary. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to dig into, this week, I want to share just, again, kind of deeper dive into my personal philosophy on this. I also want to talk directly to my job search community, my active job seekers who are struggling with where to put your energy, where to spend your emotional currency, because it ain't overthinking this shit, I'm gonna tell you right now. So we're gonna dig into that, and then next week we're gonna tackle this from the recruiter point of view, and specifically I'm gonna share with y'all some mechanisms that I've used, some things I would recommend you look into, the way I structure my day so that I can do all of this work, like more to come. And I hope that will be helpful for job seekers as well, because again, I always want to kind of peel back the curtain, right? And like show you, hey, this is what's going on. This is how it all works. It's why this channel exists, to bring transparency and authenticity to the job search process. Okay, so what does Amy Miller think of this stuff? As I said, I think that every direct applicant deserves a fair review. I know for a fact that direct applicants have been my biggest source of hire for the last few years. It would be utterly stupid for me to not take advantage of a list of people who have raised their hand and said, I want to work there. I want that job. Why on earth would I not at least take a peek? Make it make sense, y'all. Nobody has yet. Okay, so that's number one. I get FOMO. I don't want to miss out on somebody great. Now, there's some decent anecdotal data that checks out. I know over the years, and there are variables here, company size is one, level of the role, seniority, entry level, those kinds of things can impact it. How popular the company is. Big companies, of course, are going to get lots and lots of applicants. So there's a lot of variables. But on average, I would guesstimate that roughly 10 to 25% of those direct applicants actually meet the qualifications. For very niche roles, it's even less. I'm going to walk you through a specific story here in a moment to illustrate this point. But I've checked this with my friends. I've asked my recruiting pals, like, hey, when you're looking at applicants, like, do you have kind of a rough estimate, like how many you would actually send to the hiring manager, or how many meet the basic qualifications, or how many made it past the knockout questions, things like that? Yeah, about 15%. Maybe 20%. Man, I'm lucky if I get 10%. Like, these are the answers that I'm getting. And this really checks out with my own lived experience too, which is fascinating. So no, do I have a spreadsheet somewhere where I can like run a pivot table and tell you it's exactly 14.2%? No, of course not. But anecdotally, and we've all done this for so long, so many years, and with so many companies and so many roles, that we've gathered these insights and we've watched this unfold, and we've learned where to put our effort because we want to spend time on the activities that get us the hire. Okay? More on that next week. All right? Gonna dig in a little bit more to the recruiter side. as promised. So what does this mean for my job seeking community? So first of all, let me tell you a story. I had a very challenging role. This is years ago, but I will never forget it. And I've told this story on social media before, so it might sound familiar to some of you. But I remember this like it was yesterday. Incredibly niche role, really complicated. First time we're hiring somebody to do this thing. Had to have very specific experience. Some non-negotiables, like really tough non-negotiables. And we had a really painful offer decline, like we had some near misses, things like that. And every week I'd be like asking my sourcing partner, my direct, who was generating candidates, how's our applicant flow? Oh, no, we don't get good applicants. I'm going to go find somebody. Okay. But are people applying? Like, do we need to refresh the job? Do we need to rewrite the job description? Like, what's happening? No, I'm just going to go find somebody. That wasn't going very well. We were not finding anyone. And so I decided to do a little audit. I pulled up my open position, and on my life, y'all, 279 unviewed applicants. I almost threw up. I probably swore. I was pissed. I said, okay, I got this. And I sat down and I put on some shitty reality TV, poured myself a drink, and I started going through every single one of those 279 applicants. It took me about 2 hours. I'd stop to take a break, see what's going on the TV, refresh my drink. But I did. I looked at every single one. And several of them, I was able to just very quickly like, nope, because there were some non-negotiables there, right? I had, about half of them were like, maybe take a second look, go back, do the second look. By the time I was done, 2.5 hours into this, 10 direct applicants out of 279 that met the qualifications, and I sent to the hiring manager. Some of those applicants were a few months old, which is why I was really pissed, because I'm like, this person looks good, and we could have talked to them 6 weeks ago. But anyway. So my hiring manager looks at them. He's like, yeah, these are good. Hey, let's talk to these 5. The top 5, they had some of the extras, some of the preferred qualifications, that kind of thing. No problem. We engaged with the 5. Thankfully, they were still interested. We ended up doing formal interviews. So my manager talked to all 5. 4 of the 5, 80%. Made it from the phone screen to the on-site interview. And out of those 4, we hired one. Last I knew, they were still there too. So, good job. Haven't checked in a while, but girl can dream. My purpose in telling you that is twofold. Number 1, it's stupid to just ignore your low-hanging fruit, because there could be a very delicious apple in there. And 2, that's a whole lot of people that took a shot that they could not spare the ammo for. So out of almost 300 people, 10 actually met the requirements. And you best believe I did a much deeper dive and spent a lot more time on those 10 and preparing my write-up for my hiring manager and why they're good candidates and why they should talk to them and all this. 10, y'all, out of 279. So this now leads me to 2 things for you, my job seeking community. I want you to let go of what you cannot confirm and what you cannot control. You cannot confirm how many other people have applied to a role you're interested in. You cannot confirm, assuming that you are completely qualified, how many other people are as qualified. You cannot confirm whether or not a recruiter is eyeballing everyone, using knockout questions, using filters or percentage rankings, bullshit, whatever. You have no way of knowing in most cases. So why are you stressing it? What good does it do you to spend your precious emotional energy worrying about something that you cannot confirm? Now, if you could control the outcome, it might be worth some time. But guess what? You can't control it either. You cannot control the tool a recruiter uses. You cannot control the amount of time, if any, the recruiter is spending on your application information. You cannot control the outcome of your efforts. That's why you're worried about it. Serious question. The thing you can control is the information that you are providing. You can control your resume. When you're applying to a role, I do think it's a good idea, generally speaking, apply early if you can. Because once a recruiter gets a good short list, or we've found, those 10 people, I unposted that role. I was like, I don't want any more applicants. I'm going to see these 10 through. We're going to see where they go. So obviously somebody who might have been thinking about it the day before came back the next day. Oh, shoot, the role's gone. Maybe they should have applied. I don't know. Like I said, we hired the one. I was happy. I was just glad to be done with it. So it's a really tough role. You can control some of those things. And that is where you spend your emotional energy. Okay? You can also reach out to recruiters. You can ask pointed questions. You can look at the application. And if you're being asked these yes/no questions, maybe that's a knockout situation. And if you're saying no to some of those required questions, probably not the job for you. Move on. Go to the next one. Use your ammo wisely. All this talk about shooting your shot, I don't have the bullets to spare, y'all. I want to shoot good data, my resume, strong, targeted resume, to the right targets. That's what I can control as a job seeker, and that's what you can control too. Okay? Let go of what you cannot confirm, and let go of what you cannot control, y'all. All right? So let me know, how does this feel? Is this doable for you? Did this give you some peace? Did this give you another way of looking at applications? We're going to pick this back up next week. I want to dig in more to the recruiter side next week. I will share a few more ideas, tidbits, things that might help job seekers as well. So please come back, even if you're not a recruiter. Let me know down below. Drop a comment, add some context, ask questions. Let's keep this conversation going because this is important. I am all about working way smarter than harder, y'all. I am too old and too tired for that shit. So let's do it together. All right? We'll see you next week.